So is it me, or does life have a funny way of showing us that God has a great sense of humor? And I think that I might be one of his favorite to show his humor to. So this morning, I woke up extra determined, extra excited for the day. I was laser focused on what I needed to accomplish. I was ready for this day. I was ready for this day. From the moment that I woke up, and as soon as I heard the alarm, I said, okay, it's go time. You got to get up, you got to do what you got to do, brush your teeth and get into your word and start your day off right. So I start highlighting, I start writing stuff that started coming to my mind as I was reading my word. And I'm in the zone. I'm there, and I take some time to pray, seek the Lord, and everything was great. Everything has been well. It was like the perfect start of the perfect day today. So I leave the house, I get to work, I start doing what I said I was gonna do. I had outlined what I wanted to do. That's something new that I tried out. I outlined my goals for the day, and I said this and this and this needs to get done. So I managed to get that done. I got it done. And from there, it just felt great. I felt like I had accomplished so much. I felt very proud. I felt very organized. It was just perfect. So noon came, and I said, okay, time to go swim. So I got my stuff ready. I left. I went to the gym. I was there for an hour. I killed it with 72 laps today, and I was cheered on by some gym bros and some gym broettes too that have been there ever since I started this journey. And they were encouraging me and saying how like they could tell the big difference from when I started to what I'm doing now. And, you know, between that and the weight loss, 41 pounds, by the way, they were very excited about it. So it just gave me this boost of confidence. It gave me this happiness. I was like so happy to hear that, you know, because you work your butt off. You're trying to do something not only for yourself, but for your future. And to have somebody see it, have somebody encourage you, that is amazing. That's why every video that I make sure to remind you how important you are and to remind you that you're being seen, you're being heard. I may not be right next to you, but that's my hope. That's my prayer every time that I upload a video, that you can genuinely feel what in my heart goes out to you, in the sense that I truly hope you win. I truly hope you reach every goal, every desire you have put your mind to this year. It's not easy. I'll tell you that. It's not easy. It hasn't been an easy run. There's been moments where I've had to push myself and kind of like get mad at myself and say, you cannot fall back on your word. You cannot go back to old habits. Comfort kills. And I am so against it right now. And I'm not going to allow myself in any way to go back to those old habits. So I push myself. Sometimes I've had to, and I've had to look in the mirror and say, this is not you. You cannot go back to this. That person doesn't live here anymore. That person doesn't reside here anymore. And we're not going to invite him in. You got to push forward. So I applaud you. I encourage you. And I tell you, you're doing great. You're doing awesome. In case nobody has told you that, I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. I love to see that no matter how big or how little the changes may be or the efforts may be, the fact that you're doing them, that alone is amazing. So I applaud you, and just know I'm very proud of you. So finishing my time at the gym, I left with an extra spring in my step. I left, and when I was in the car, I was all like, you know, this feels great. This feels amazing. I was so happy, very excited. And at that moment, usually after the gym is when I go eat my lunch. The reason being is that if I eat before, with the exertion I'm putting on my body, I feel like it's gonna come back up. So I rather not eat. I know, TMI, right? TMI. But it's the reason why I don't like to eat before I go to swim. I have my breakfast and I usually wait for my lunch till after I go swimming. So today I'm sitting in my car and I'm thinking, okay, what am I gonna eat today? Last night I forgot to pull out the piece of chicken from the freezer, so there wasn't anything in hand that I could make easily at home, which I would have preferred. There was tuna, but it wasn't a tuna kind of day today. It didn't feel like that. So I said, what can I do? What can I get? So I opted for a sandwich, something light, something fresh, and something quick and easy to go. So we have a store that's called EG's here in Tucson. Well, it used to be just a local Tucson only restaurant, but apparently now they've sold and they're opening all over the place. But I went to EG's and I said, okay, they have this great sandwich that I love. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get a big cup of water because swimming gets you very, very thirsty. So I said, okay, I'm gonna get the biggest cup of water and everything. So as I'm driving, something weird happened. As I'm driving my car, instead of going straight, it went to the right, and somehow I ended at the at the Starbucks ordering line. I don't know how that happened, but I said, okay, well, I mean, this must be a sign, right? So who am I to tell the universe that I shouldn't be getting Starbucks? But it's a sugar free, by the way, so don't think I'm very mindful of what I'm doing. I'm not getting those sugary drinks. So I stopped there because it was my first coffee of the day. Today I was fasting earlier. Up until that moment, I was fasting. So I got my coffee, and as I drove off, I was on my way to EG's. I got in line. I placed my order. I paid for it, and everything's fine. I grab my lunch and I go. And as I'm driving out, I see the Mr. Car Wash, and I'm like, okay, I haven't washed my car in a while, so while I look for a place to eat, I'll just run through the car wash real quick. And yeah, I went. Nobody was there. So I was like, right. As soon as I got there, the gate opened and I went. I got my car wash. And out here, it's a beautiful day. It's a wonderful, beautiful day. A little bit of wind. It's just wonderful. There's just that kind of weather that you can sit outside and just really, really enjoy the day. So after I leave the car wash, I found this little parking space it's like a common parking space that doesn't belong to anyone, but I guess people that in those shopping centers go there and park. So I found one that was shaded by a tree, and I said, perfect, this is the perfect one. So I go and I park there. I put down my windows. It wasn't until I put them down that I remember I just washed my car, and the windows are gonna get smudged, which they ended up getting smudged. But anyways, doesn't matter. I was feeling great. I didn't care about the smudging of the windows. I said, I'll run it through the car wash again. So I sit there, I turn off my car, my windows are down, I have NPR playing, and I'm messaging my brother, and then my sister's sending me memes. I was like, it was wonderful. And I pull out my sandwich, I pull out a little bag of chips, and I'm sitting there and I'm organizing everything, and I'm all like, okay, perfect. Let's get started. So as I'm listening to the radio, I'm looking at my messages coming in. I'm munching away. I'm enjoying my sandwich. It was the best thing you could have. And as I'm sitting there and eating there, after the second bite, I hear a car, and I look back, and it's this nice Dodge Charger. And I look, and he passes by from where I was. And then I see his backup lights coming on. There was an empty space, 2 empty spaces next to me. But he decided to choose the parking space that was right next to me because, God forbid, he parks anywhere else and, leaves that space between us. So he parks right next to me, and he puts down his windows, and I'm looking because I obviously he's next to me, and I can see straight into his back seat. And I guess he started eating too because I could hear bags or plastic bags shuffling around. So I'm kind of all right, well, that's cool. So I'm eating, and as I'm kind of worried, I'm okay, well, what if I put my windows up a little, because I had them all the way down. I might just put them halfway up. That way, I don't know, just whatever. I just thought about it. And I'm no, you're going to make it more awkward. You're going to make it more obvious. So whatever. And I'm sitting there, and as I'm about to take my next bite, I don't know how, I don't know from where, I don't even know how I didn't catch this, The moment that I started hearing loud shuffling of bags, and it was a dude in the car next door. And when I turned to the left to see him, out of the corner of my eyes, he's covering his bag of food. And it was in a matter of a half a second that this cloud of dust just envelops both of our cars. And it was this dust tornado type thing. And I'm turning around, I get hit with the dirt in my eyes. I have my glasses on, I have my sandwich like 2 inches away from my mouth. And I just stand there and I'm like, did this really just happen? And like I put my sandwich down and like I'm trying to clean my eyes because it really got me good on my left eye. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So after like I open my eyes and I can actually see, I take off my glasses and I'm looking at myself and I look up to see myself in the rear mirror view. My face is covered in dust. My sandwich went from lettucey green and beautiful to like brown and dirty. And I look at my sandwich and I'm all like, are you kidding me right now? And I reached to get my cup of coffee. And when I brought it closer to my mouth, you know how it has the clear lids? Well, the clear lid was covered in dirt, like literally, like you can clean it, like dust it off. And I was all like, you have got to be kidding me. This is my first meal of the day. And this is what happens. I get this dust storm. Y'all, when I tell you, I was like, I just put my sandwich away. I wrapped it up nicely the way that it had come packaged. I put it in the bag. I just sit there for a while. And I know the guy is looking at me. And when I turned around and looked at him, and he's looking at me, and he's all like, ah. He's like, it got you, huh? And then I'm all like, yes, it did. And he starts laughing. And I'm kind of there because I'm a polite person. I'm like, whatever, right? I was mad. And so because he was there, I didn't want to act out. So I'm like, whew, all right. So I got the sandwich. I put it away. I got my drink. I left it where it was. I got this towel and I had a water bottle. I watered it down. I wiped my face down. Mind you, I had just showered. I had just gotten out of the gym. So as I get off the car, because I went to throw my trash away, I went to throw my sandwich away. I get off and I throw everything off. I'm like dusting myself off. And he's all like, it almost seemed like somebody threw like a handful of dirt at us. And then I'm all like, yeah, pretty much. So I get back into the car. I'm like dusting off my seat because it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And like I'm wiping down the inside of the car. So I'm like, well, I said I was gonna go to the car wash again. Might as well just go now. So when I go there, the lady's all like, didn't you just leave? I'm like, yeah, but I got attacked. And she's like, oh no, what happened? I'm like, I got attacked by that tornado of dirt. She's like, that was a big one. How did you not see it? And here's the funny part. I was preoccupied looking at the dude next to me that was parking in the next parking lot. And in my head, I was like, seriously, sir, you could park anywhere else. I was so focused on that I didn't pay attention to the back of the mirror, or at least look in the rear view mirrors to see that there was a dust devil that was coming over here. And I could have maybe put up my windows or at least covered my sandwich or done something, right? Kind of like the guy did. But I was preoccupied looking at the person next to me. And that's the funny part. And that's kind of the learning experience from this, is that a lot of the times we're so focused on what's happening around us, or we're paying attention to the things that don't matter. And sometimes things come at us and they catch us by surprise and they get a reaction out of us. And maybe it's a reaction that we didn't want to give, or we didn't mean to give, or it's something that you didn't expect to say, or you didn't expect to react in that way because it caught you off guard. And that's the moment where I felt the Lord speaking to me and say, you always have to be mindful of the things around you, but make sure you always keep that laser focus you started off the day with. Instead of caring about who was next to you, mind your business and enjoy your lunch, or just mind your business and pay attention to what's important, what's in front of you. And if there's any danger looking back, in that sense, look back, you know? But that was something that I learned out of this experience. It cost me a sandwich, it cost me a coffee, but this, what I'm sharing with you right now, it's a valid point. When you go through life focused on things, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about anyone else. Sometimes those distractions can really hinder us, and sometimes something that could be avoided, something that could be insignificant, all of a sudden becomes this huge problem, becomes this huge thing that causes us to fall out of our focus, to fall out of what we were doing, out of our zone. And it tends to ruin the moment. It tends to ruin the feeling that we had. And it was in that moment where I said, all right, like, let's look at the positive side, is that, hey, I'm happy still. I still got my goals done. I still felt productive. I still did everything. No matter what happened, it didn't take me out of the feeling of what I had accomplished, what I had accomplished today, what I had done today. The focus, the energy, the determination felt so great that not even a minor inconvenience like that really upset me. I've gone through stuff like that before, and it has really upset me. I mean, food is sacred. You don't mess with my food. Joey don't share food, right? So I share that same feeling. But in this scenario, I was happy with my reaction, because instead of like getting mad, getting angry about it, I started laughing and I said, Lord, you really do have a sense of humor. You knew this was my first meal of the day, and then this happens out of nowhere. But my proud moment is that no matter what came, what happened, nothing stole my happiness. No one stole what I was feeling in the moment. And I said, you know what? Hey, I got a few bites out of it. It was the best sandwich ever. Now I got to get going to what I got to get going. And luckily I came home, and my sister-in-law surprised us with a delicious meal. So kudos to Eva. Thank you so much. But that's the happy ending. Sometimes things happen, but what's important is that you maintain focus and you keep going to where you need to go. No matter how big or how small the inconvenience may be, always rely on your laser focusedness, if that's a word. Don't worry about what's on the side. Don't worry about who's around you. Focus on where you need to get and where you need to go, or where you're going. And that's that. And there's going to be times where you're standing, you're waiting for something to happen, and then things happen to you. Don't worry. Don't focus on all of that stuff. And even if it's a negative thing, don't allow it to control your outcome, the outcome of your day. It's a minor inconvenience, and it's not fair that you give that minor inconvenience so much importance that it ruins an entire day. There's a I can't remember. I'm gonna look for this story or like a quote, but I think they said like 40,806 seconds a day completes a day, or 4,800. I'm something like that. The amount of seconds in one day, and sometimes often inconveniences that happen to us, are about 10, 15 seconds worth of our time. And a lot of the times we allow those 10 seconds to ruin the 40,000 plus seconds that we have in an entire day. And we can't do that. We have to be wise. We have to be smart, and we have to understand the value of our time. See, that's what determination does. It helps you understand the value of your time, so you don't waste it where it's not important. You don't waste it on things that take away from you. Rather, you adapt and you refocus and you find a better solution. You find a way out of things instead of becoming a victim. Like I could have said, like, oh my God, always did that. I said, you know what? We'll find something else to eat. We'll get something else. We'll get going. And what happened? Hey, I got a nice, delicious, freshly cooked meal. That was something I wasn't expecting. But it was even a better option than what I was eating. So that to me is kind of like, hey, I got you. You did good. You reacted the right way, and you didn't let that ruin your moment and ruin your day. And that's that. Sometimes you just got to keep moving forward. Don't dwell in things that don't come out right. Rather focus, regroup, reorient, redo whatever you have to do, but keep moving forward. Because no matter what, the only person that gets affected by getting down or by being mad about stuff or upset about things is yourself. Nobody else cares. Nobody else will do anything. Nobody else will be affected but you. So don't allow yourself to get to that point. See and say, all right, this didn't go as planned. This is not what I expected. All right, so what can we do to get what I am expecting? How do I get to where I need to get from here? And trust me, that's going to change so much in your mind, and that's going to change so much in your heart. So I encourage you to keep moving forward, keep pushing forward. You got this. You're coming a long way. You've been coming a long way. Whether it's small or big, your victories, they're victories nonetheless. So I applaud you, I encourage you, and I remind you that this world is that much more brighter because you're in it. You're important. They're so important that the creator of all things decided that this world needed one of you in it today. So keep looking forward, keep moving forward, and keep determined. Don't look around. Don't look around for any approval of anything or anyone. Just keep moving forward. Minor inconveniences happen all the time, yes. But what do? We kind of like when you skip your exit when you're listening to the GPS. What does it say? We're rerouting. They're not telling you, oh my God, you missed your exit. No. We're rerouting. We're going to get to where we need to get. We're just taking a mini tour, detour, but we're going to get where we're going to get. Let's do that instead. Instead of focusing and dwelling on the madness, on the, oh my God, why me or why this? Don't worry about it. Keep moving forward. As long as you're moving forward, you're going to do just fine. And as always, love, peace, and chicken grease.